Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams despite your feelings, fears, or past failures, to imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win-Win Women TV. I'm your host, Alicia Curry, and I'm so thrilled to be with you today. And I just want to encourage you to check out our platform. Go to redcarpetceo.com and you can find out more about our shows and get information. If you want to be a guest on the show, go to redcarpetceo.com. We have a place where you can become a guest as well. And of course, I want you to check out Win-Win Women TV. When you go to Win-Win Women or winwinwomen.com, and you can find out more about what we're doing in your local area for Win-Win Women, for women all over the world. So I am your host, Alicia Curry. I am here to share today with you about being consistent. You know, our topic for the show today is, can I trust myself to be consistent? Because that was a question I had for myself for many years. I did not trust myself to be consistent. I didn't think I could ever be consistent because my entire life as a child growing up, I was told I was not consistent. I was told that I was a quitter. I was told that I couldn't do something to the end. I was told a lot of stuff about myself that made me not believe that I could be consistent. But here's the trick about that our subconscious mind plays. While it's telling us from the outside and programming us from the outside to say that you can't be this because, and all the evidence is pointing to, well, you can't pay attention, you're not good in school, you don't study, you don't follow through, you don't do all these things, which in society's mind equals consistency. In your world, you're like, well, I didn't need to finish that because it was a waste of my time. So like, you know what's going on in your own head, why you stop, but because of pressure from everyone else, you start to question that, and then you stop believing that you can do something, and you stop believing that you can't do it. So I want to give you some keys today about being consistent. And the first one actually is to think about all the times in your day that you are consistent. Because this idea that you can't be consistent, I just hit my glasses. This idea that you can't be consistent, or you don't know how to be consistent, or you're falling or you're failing because of lack of consistency is all in your head. There are things that you do every single day that create consistency for you every day. So I want you to think about all the good things that you do to and for yourself every single day, consistently on a day-to-day basis. So that will be the foundation of trusting that you can be consistent, right? So the foundation is, when I wake up in the morning until I go to bed, how many things do I do consistently for myself that I can trust getting done? I brush my teeth. Whether you make your bed or don't make your bed. If you make your bed, yes. If you exercise, yes. If you eat breakfast in the morning or you eat right, yes. If you're fasting and you stay committed to that fast, yes. Listen, when I started intermittent fasting, I thought I would die. When my health coach said, you need to start intermittent fasting, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I'm just not going to survive. I'm not going to survive that. I'm not going to survive a prolonged fast ever in my life. If I had to do 24 or 36-hour fast, I'm not going to survive. But you know what? I did it. And the more I did it, the more I became consistent with it. And now it's like second nature. I fast 16 hours a day. So, and I eat for 8. So I fast 16 and I eat 8. It's figuring out what are the things that you do consistently and how were those habits built? How were those consistent habits built? And then the next step of this that I want you to think about is your reason for being consistent in something. So if you're in business, for instance, and you're thinking, well, I need to make sales calls. I need to make sales calls, and I'm not consistent making sales calls. Well, why do you need to make sales calls? Why? Well, I won't have a business unless I have clients, so I need to make sales calls. How difficult is it for you to make a sales call? You see, there's a whole lot of stuff in our head that we have to untrash to actually do the thing to become consistent. And if it's something that you need that's going to take a lot of time for you to work through some beliefs and some fears and some, if you're not someone who could just rip the bandage off and just go for it and then realize that, listen, I didn't die by picking up the phone. I didn't die by going on a fast. It didn't kill me. It didn't like debilitate me to the point that I couldn't wake up the next day. No. So sometimes the fear in our head stops us from doing the thing consistently that we need to do. And that, I have that coming up later. I kind of jumped the gun on that, but why? What is the reason? You really have to have a strong, compelling reason for wanting the result that you want. And when you have a strong, compelling reason for wanting the result that you want, then that can shift your perspective and help you to become more consistent. My strong, compelling reason for fasting, my strong, compelling reason for getting up every single day and walking and exercising, my strong, compelling reason for taking all the supplements that I'm taking and for taking care of my health and going to the chiropractor at least once every other week and going to do bone therapy every single week is to maintain good health. But it goes even beyond just maintaining good health. Some people are like, good health, it's no big deal. When you've been diagnosed with a disease, like I was diagnosed with breast cancer, that became, like I was doing all that stuff, not the bone density, but I was doing pretty much a lot of that stuff before. I went weekly to the chiropractor. I ate healthy in ways that I knew. There were other ways that I wasn't aware of, but in ways that I knew were healthy. A lot of vegetables. I ate fruit, I ate vegetables, lean meats. But there were things that I was not incorporating into my diet that I needed to, like a lot more healthy fats, understanding the role of protein in my diet, minimizing simple carbohydrates. So there were things that I was still doing that I didn't understand until I had a compelling reason to understand and get the information about it and really start taking action on it. So when you have that compelling reason, then you tend to do the thing that you need to do and become consistent in it. Another way to become more consistent is to have accountability for that. Accountability really pushes you to be consistent in something. So when you have a reason, a strong reason, and you have accountability in there, you're more likely to be consistent with it when you have someone else or something else to report to. So accountability and a reason kind of go hand in hand. And that's one tip in that. It's accountability and your reason why and having accountability to someone else. So when you look at being consistent, why is it so difficult sometimes for us to be consistent? I took my CliftonStrengths Finders strengths. You got 34, they measure 34 strengths and they kind of give it a hierarchy. And I did my 34 strengths and consistency was number 34 on the list. So that is my least available strength, consistency. So when you hear something like that, and when you look at something like that, and you say consistency is not even on the map for me. What do you do with that? Well, the thing about the thing about taking assessments and understanding your strengths, because that's the work I do. I do a lot of work around strengths profiling for individuals in organizations. We do a lot of different strengths profiling for them. We profile their cognitive strengths, their cognitive strengths, and their affective strengths. And like Clifton Strength Finders is an affective strength profile. So we do a lot of strengths, work with people with their strengths. And so if you want to know more about that, just go to alicia360.com and connect with me, and we'll have a chat around profiling your strengths for you so you understand them. But the thing about strengths is, because consistency is an affective strength in that Clifton Strength Finders list of strengths. That's in the affective part of the mind, which is in the limbic part of the brain. I have two other parts of my brain that I can employ to help me become more consistent. Now, one other part of my brain, the cognitive part, wasn't going to help me that much with consistency, because my cognitive profile also does not lend itself to a lot of routine and consistency. But cognitively, thinking in my thinking brain, I could develop the skill to be consistent. I can develop a skill set for consistency in my cognitive thinking brain. So when something might be a deficiency in one area of the mind, it can pick up on another area. You can pick it up in another area of the mind. So while it's not innate, it's not something that I do easily, or it doesn't come to me naturally, because I've developed, and that's where habits come in. Habits are those things that you develop over time in the cognitive part of your mind until it becomes subconscious, and you just keep doing it over and over. A habit, you do it so many times that it now embeds itself into your subconscious mind, and you're able to do it over and over and over again. So finding consistency when you have a strong reason why that's linked to your passion and your purpose, because your passion and your purpose, that's part of the 7 secrets to audacious confidence that we talk about. So your passion and your purpose is linked to that. And if you want all 7, you can go to audaciousconfidence.com and you can find all 7 secrets to audacious confidence. But when you link your reason to your passion and your purpose, and then you add accountability into there, that drives you to be more consistent when you don't naturally have that strength for consistency, or when you get distracted by things. When you have those 3 elements in place, that helps you become more consistent. And talking about 3 elements, having those 3 elements in place, I want to share some of the pillars, in my opinion, some pillars for consistency that will probably help you become more consistent in areas of your life that you need to be. So first, before I share those 3 pillars, let's look at the areas that we need to look at becoming more consistent in. So the wheel of life, right? So when you have that wheel of life, we have our own personal development and growth. We have our spiritual growth and development. We have our health and wellness. We have our financial growth or goals for our finances, relationships and family, career and business. And then you have your social, so like your social circle and whatever your give back is. If your social and philanthropic areas. So when you look at those areas of your life, where do you need the most consistency for success? Where do you already have consistency for success in those areas? So where out of those key areas on the wheel of life are you already experiencing consistency that you really don't have to work too much in? And where are the areas that you need to focus in on a little bit more to build more consistency around. And if it's in your family, if it's your own health and wellness, then you need to now put those, what I talked about, those things in place. So really start working on, why do I need to be consistent in this? What is the benefit? What if I fail in my consistency in this? Like, what are the consequences of me not focusing on this right now? And then, that reason connects to your purpose. And then if you have someone helping you to be more accountable, that's why I hired a health coach, because I knew that me alone, I was doing it alone by myself before, and I had a level of consistency with it, but I was lacking knowledge in certain areas. So I wasn't doing all the right things. So sometimes you could be consistent in something, but you're still lacking knowledge in it. And when you have a coach that helps you not just be consistent, that has that accountability piece for it, that coach is also helping you gain knowledge around certain things that you didn't have before. So now let me share the pillars with you. So the 3 pillars that I want to share to consistency is, 1, your values. Again, your values are linked to that third secret to audacious confidence, your passion and your purpose. Your values are inexplicably linked, like they're connected to that passion and your purpose. So what are your values? What are your values in your health and wellness? What are your values in your family and relationships? What are your values in your business and your career? What are your values, spiritual values? What are your personal growth values? What are your social values when you're interacting in society? What are those values? What are your values for giving? Really understand what your values are. And when you can understand what your values are and realize that they're linked to your purpose, your values help you to be more consistent if it's in alignment with your values. If it's not in alignment with your values, then you find a harder time being consistent with it. The other thing is, do you know how you make decisions? That's another pillar to consistency, is how you make decisions for yourself. Because when you make solid decisions for yourself, and because a decision is so definitive that your brain now goes into action to make that happen. So how do you make decisions for yourself? I talked a little bit earlier about the 3 parts of the mind. All 3 parts of your mind are involved in decision making. You may not even be aware of that the affective, how you're motivated to do something, impacts the decision that you're making. Whether or not your cognitive, your will, and your instincts, your natural instincts line up with the decision that you're making. If you have enough knowledge or understanding around the thing that you need to make a decision on. Those I just talked about, those are the 3 parts of the mind helping you. They're all intertwined in helping you make decisions. So do you understand that process? Do you understand how you make decisions? Are you someone that needs a lot of information before you make a decision? Or are you someone who can jump in and make the decision quickly because you can jump in and jump back out? You can take that risk, and if it starts going sideways on you, you have a fail-safe that you can fall back on. All our brains are wired very differently in how we make decisions. And then we have, on top of that, our own programming, our subconscious programming. If you grew up in a family where they made decisions quickly, then you've developed a skill, or you've developed at least some kind of awareness about making decisions, or it's somewhere in your subconscious mind about making decisions, and you would tend to make decisions quickly as well. If you were around people and you grew up around people that were completely indecisive, then you may also have inherited some of that indecisiveness by not understanding actually how your brain works or what's holding that back. So how do you make decisions? That's another one of those pillars that you need to understand about yourself, because definitive decisions help you to be more consistent. When you say, I am going to do this, then everything about how you're going to do it starts to come together, and you become consistent in that. And just test it. Test it. When was the last time you made a really conscious, definitive decision to do something that then you had to keep doing it, or you had to be consistent with it? Look back and see when that ever happened for you and what the result of that was. And then the final thing is to take action on those decisions. How do you take action? Do you understand how you take action? We're going to do a workshop coming up soon on your strengths, on connecting your strengths to your vision. And so just connect with me and I'll give you the details to that, how you can connect your innate strengths in those 3 parts of the mind to how you make decisions and how you set a plan to accomplish your goals. So if consistency is a challenge for you, we're going to be doing a series of workshops and retreats to help you overcome that and help you find ways to understand how your brain processes, what are some of the obstacles that are hindering you from being successful in becoming consistent. So how you take action is a big part of consistency. And if you understand how your brain is wired for taking action, you can become more consistent you'll pick the right things to do because it'll be in alignment. Like I said before, it'll actually be in alignment with the way your brain functions. And you won't pick something to do that is completely misaligned to the way your brain functions, because then it'll be super difficult. It'll be energy draining and you won't have success with it. And you'll just quit. I'm just telling you right now. That's how powerful your brain is, even though you want to do it and you might be motivated to do it. If you don't understand how your brain is wired to actually take action on that, then you might be putting yourself in the wrong place to succeed. And the reason the show is called Unleash Your Audacious Confidence is because I want to give you the tips and the tools to make sure that you build your confidence by understanding yourself and how your brain operates. So that's super important. And then the last tip that I want to leave with you is resistance, non-resistance. How do you understand resistance in your own life when it comes to being consistent? What are those cautions? What are those hindrances to you becoming consistent? Resistance, not the law of non-resistance, isn't just a universal law. It's one of the secrets to audacious confidence too. So I'm sharing 2 of the secrets to audacious confidence today. It's your passion, your purpose, and operating in the law of non-resistance. But in order to operate in the law of non-resistance, you have to understand, what are you resisting and where are you resisting and why are you resisting? So here are just a couple reasons why people will resist. I have my handy dandy tablet. I really, really like this. I got this remarkable tablet and it's like everything is right here for me right now. So so here are some of the areas that you could possibly be resisting in. So resistance shows up as excuses. How many times do you make excuses for not doing the thing that you said you were going to do, or for not being consistent in doing the thing that you said you were going to do? Where do you make up excuses? How many excuses do you make up? What are the excuses that you give yourself that says it's okay to be inconsistent in this area? Because that's where self-trust becomes damaged, is when we start using excuses over doing the thing that we really said we needed to do. Because now your brain, your subconscious mind, is actually saying, well, you say that all the time and you don't do it because you come up with an excuse for it. So now your brain is not trusting your word to actually do the thing that you're doing it. So you don't trust yourself. to be consistent. So excuses are one of the ways that resistance shows up. I don't have enough information. Not having enough information is another resistance tool that we use. And let me tell you, when I was doing my stuff, when I was out there running, so I used to run 7 minutes a day. I would go out there and I would run as fast as I could because I did not want to exercise. And I thought if I was going to exercise, I'm going to make it fast. I'm going to get it over and done with quickly. So I went out there and I would run. And I'd run around my neighborhood. 7 minutes. Yes. And then I learned that that was not the right thing for me to do for my body, for my health, for what I was trying to accomplish with my health. Yes, made my legs strong. I had muscle tone. It was fit, but it was also blowing out my adrenals. It was raising my cortisol early in the morning. It was doing all the other things that I wasn't aware of. So I needed to get more information, but the need to get more information was not stopping me from going out and doing something. And because I was doing it imperfectly at first, for years, I was doing it imperfectly. I had already built up that routine of getting up, getting out of my bed and going out and doing something until I learned better. And then I had to pivot and change what I was doing and had to walk instead of run. And yes, so I'm walking now. Still no picnic, but I'm consistent. And actually it works really well for me because I get to listen now to two or three podcast episodes while I'm out there walking, because I'm listening to stuff at 1.5 times speed, right? So I would listen to two 25-minute podcasts in the time that I walk, the 25 minutes that I walk instead of one podcast. So gotta get it in. I gotta get it in. So yes, that's another one. Overwhelm, stress, confusion. Those are the other resistance tools that your brain will throw up for you when you're trying to be consistent and you're making a decision to do something consistently. You start going into confusion. You start feeling overwhelmed. Those are all resistances that are showing up for you. And if your reason is bigger than the resistance, you will be able to push through those resistances. If your reason is not big enough for the resistances, you will not push through the resistance. I've heard all the time, I think most of my life, you need to wake up in the morning. Good citizens make their beds. You have to make up your bed early in the morning. Otherwise, you're not a good person. You're not starting your day off right. All these other beliefs about making up your bed in the morning. Making up my bed in the morning, I really don't care. It's not a big why for me. So some mornings I do it, some mornings I don't. The mornings I do, I can be consistent. Like I can make up my bed every single day for 2-3 weeks, few months. And then the one day that I don't do it is like, it's no big deal. Because being consistent with that doesn't impact my life negatively in any way. But being consistent with this show, showing up here every single Monday to do this show, that's important to me, to share this information with you, to help you get to another level, to help you develop your audacious confidence and audacious confidence, to help you break through some of your barriers and resistances. This is important to me. So I make sure that I have a show topic. I make sure that we promote this show, whether we have a live studio audience or not. I am here consistently every Monday because it's important to me and it's part of my purpose and I'm very passionate about it. So I hope that you can see through a different lens when it looks at becoming more consistent and recognize that you are already consistent. It's just a matter of now understanding why other areas of your life you need to be more consistent in and really connecting your passion and your purpose to that. Don't forget to go check out audaciousconfidence.com to check out the seven secrets to audacious confidence, and connect with me, alicia360.com. And if you want to find out more about our vision workshop, it's vision2024.now.site, and you can check that out. Until next time, this is Alicia Curry for Unleash Your Audacious Confidence show, saying be bold, be brave, and every day do one thing to step out with audacious confidence. Until next time. Mwah.